Here's Brody Brazil.
You know, we live in an interesting time media-wise where there's the emergence of things like YouTube and social media, which have really caught people's attention in the way they consume material. But that also goes hand in hand with traditional broadcast television. That's been around for many decades. In fact, since the inception of the television, basically. These are two very different ways that people consume media, consume content, consume sports, for example. And I'm a person who's got my feet kind of in both pools a little bit. Obviously, grew up, trained as a broadcaster, but have had and found this fascination with YouTube. I just kind of wanted to break down how maybe they're similar from my standpoint and what I do, kind of pull back the curtain, but how they are actually totally different on a day-to-day basis. Let's begin with, like, for example, my role as a broadcaster. Here at NBC Sports, hosting pre- and post-game shows. What do I try and do? Provide insightful commentary, good relationships, including the analysts I work with, the players that I cover. I mean, I don't want to be the guy that just talks about them. I want to hear from them. I want to get to know them a little bit. And good relationships with the fan base. Super important, right? I want to make it feel like I'm one of you, very relatable, because quite honestly, I am. I'm just put in this position where I get to ask some questions and make some comments. I've got to be aware of the history of the franchises and the players and to know the backstory. Have to be aware of the audience. What gets you excited? What things are frustrating you? What things are you motivated by? What things do you not like? Do you like? What's the hype? What's the buzz? Part of that is engaging in person. There's no question about that. But the other part about it is, be a little bit engaging on social, right? And has nothing to do with the TV show, but it makes somebody on TV a little bit more human to be engaging on social media. Versatile, or is it versatile? Versatile. On digital platforms, I mean, that's been a huge deal for us here, going back to the Comcast Sportsnet days, the CSN days, and now NBC Sports. TV networks are not just the channel on the television. They are, a website, an app, social media, they're all that stuff. But the work as a broadcaster is like a high output volume. You think about a baseball season, for example. Last year, I did 120 games. So 2 shows pre and post per game. That's 240 shows of baseball alone. And I think I did another 60 or so hockey games. So times that by 2. So now we're getting to, 300 plus TV shows a year. And that's one a day, basically, not including some vacations and time off or when I'm not feeling well or on assignment doing other things. So it's a high volume. But the reason I can get to that high volume is because I'm not doing all the jobs of a YouTuber, right? I can focus on just these roles as a host, as a broadcaster. All of these things and just focusing on that helps me get a lot of work done. And important work, right? There's, after a game, for example, after a really big game, there's a lot of people, a lot of fans of that team tuning in. So there's a lot going on here, but on YouTube, it's different. There's a ton of small roles that I fill in making these videos here on this channel. Like, I'm my own producer. I decide on what material would make a good video or not. Sometimes I think it's a good video and it turns out that it doesn't play out well. It's not, highly viewed or highly received or whatever. Or some of them just flop, let's be honest. But a producer, that's what they do for me on television. I'm my own producer on here. Try and formulate an approach with the delivery and the structure of these words, like this presentation. How's this going to go start to finish? I've already kind of produced this whole thing in my head. So on YouTube, I'm my own producer. I'm also the only graphic designer here on this channel. Literally, like, I made this presentation you're looking at right now, and all the other ones, and all the graphics you see, including all the thumbnails. Yeah, that's me making that. There is the opportunity for help here and there, but for the most part, it's me. That's a very important job. And again, if this is somebody working at NBC as a graphic designer, they're working at a high volume, but that's all they're doing is graphic design. On YouTube, I've got to be my own engineer, an IT person. I've got to figure out IP numbers, subnets, data rates, stream bit rates, whatever. You don't want to hear all that. I have to operate video streams in HD from home and from remote locations like this when I'm at work. I also have to maintain my editing systems and software, storage, and archival systems. Yeah, I keep every video that I make just in case for later down the road. So there's already 3 jobs. How about a 4th job? I'm my own home studio director. I have to oversee everything in the home studio, including cameras, microphones, lightings, stuff breaks, doesn't work, could be better, need to tune up, all the other systems. When you have your own YouTube channel, you're in charge of it. And also, like I'm doing here from the remote setup, there's actually 2 different setups I have. The home studio, which pretty much never gets touched. It just stays in place. And then here I've got a couple, they're called Pelican cases. I throw everything in a Pelican case, I set it up here, and I tear it down, and I store it when I'm not using it. So got to be my own studio director on YouTube. I host the show, basically, if that's what we want to call it here on YouTube. This is really the only similar role to broadcasting. It's just that I don't do this as much on YouTube. Like, again, a typical workday for me at NBC Sports, at least 60 minutes of being on air. A typical YouTube day for me is making a 6-minute video, right? When you host something on YouTube, you're under much different, really no time constraints. And you could probably, people are a little bit more edgier here. I say you can probably go closer to the edges here. What do I mean by that? Your language could be more colorful. You could drink an IPA doing one of these videos. You can't really do all that stuff on television. I will bend things. Yeah, of course I've had a drink here on YouTube, but I prefer to typically be myself. I mean, who I am, I try and be the same person on TV and YouTube and real life. And it's as simple as that. Because I do notice some people are, you see them one way here, you see them another way over there, and you're like, who is that person actually? So another job I take up is audio operator, making sure the audio clips that I play, or the video clips I play, or the sound effects and the microphones, that they all record and stream at proper levels, so I'm not talking to you all the way down. See, you couldn't even hear that right there. Or you need a sound effect? No problem. I got you right there. I also never really try and rely on good enough is good enough for YouTube. Some people do that. I want pristine audio, pristine video. Like, what's the sense of doing something if you're not going to at least try and do it right, or do it right most of the time? A technical director on television is somebody who pushes buttons on the switcher. The director leads them. Camera 3, ready, camera 4, take 4, ready, green, roll green, take green, which means like roll a clip, show it. Anyway, replays, all that stuff. The technical director chooses the proper shots and graphics during a live stream, or while I'm recording a stream like this. So as right now, I'm kind of in this split screen. I've done that. If I wanted to just show the single camera of me, I can do that. I've got the ultimate control over all my visuals. And in fact, how do I do that? Well, I do it. Oh, look at it. It's flickering. Of course it is. I do that with a Stream Deck. So those are my buttons right here. This is controlling my entire live stream right now. Here, there you go. So I am the technical, I am the technical director breaking things on my own YouTube channel. Just another job that you take up when you do this. On YouTube, you're your own video editor. That's right. Every single video, including this one that gets published, usually gets edited or trimmed to some degree. Put something at the beginning and at the end, the little opener, or the subscribe, the closing piece, or the click on these videos thing. What's it called? Is it a trailer? The end, whatever the end piece is, I put that on. Or like when it pops up and says, subscribe right now. Oh, like watch this. I'll make it happen. Ready? 3. I just put that in. Like not now, but I put that in later with editing. So Brody, as you edit this, thank you very much. Opens, closes, and the subscribe graphics that fly in. I edit those in later. On YouTube, you're your own programming director. You get to decide what videos run and when they do. And some are timely, like, corresponding with something that's going to happen or just happened. Some are strategic because I know it's going to be, a slow day, but it's something I still want to put out there to the world. So I'm making decisions on what gets posted when and why. Some other videos are based on, like I said, work and life schedule of business. If I know I'm going to be taking a rest for a while or I need a week, okay, so I've got some videos kind of in the backlog and I publish those. Let those ones breathe a little bit. So there's a lot of decisions to be made from the programming side. How about a promotions manager? I mean, this channel doesn't grow itself exactly. So I've got to share, clips on Twitter or Instagram or maybe Facebook or links and give compelling reasons of why to watch and why to come back for more. It's a big deal. You got to push the channel as much as you make content. If you just make good content, that might be enough, but obviously promoting it helps. Okay, it's a lot of jobs. Again, it's a weird cross-section. I started with TV to say that here's a lot of what you do over and over, the same job over and over. YouTube, it's just a lot of those little jobs, a little bit here, a little bit there, but if you don't know all those jobs, it's hard to really put the channel together how you want to. TV's great. You get to do one thing, you get to do it well. YouTube, you're forced to do all the little things, at least on a smaller channel like this. You got to do all the little things and try and do them as best as possible. That's the end of this video. Hopefully you got some entertainment of seeing behind the scenes a little bit. Thumbs up down below since you made it here to the end. I appreciate that. And don't forget, subscribe to this channel so I can definitely see you back here next time.